Hey everybody, thanks for joining us out here again today on the VSO Gun Channel. We got something a little out of the ordinary. We're above the range in the hay bale stack actually. This is the area that we normally use to shoot long range, but you know, we actually stacked hay on top of it this year. So we actually have a really solid rest from the standing position because we had a 2,000 pound hay bale here. But that said, what we're going to be doing today is actually looking at two methods for ballistic corrections on long range shooting. We're going to use BDC, and we're going to go ahead and use dial to go ahead and put some lead on steel. For that today, I'm using the Monarch 5. The Nikon Monarch 5 is a second focal plane, high power hunting scope from Nikon Sport Optics. It sports adjustment range up to 5 times magnification from the range of 6 power to 30 power. It also sports a parallax function that goes all the way from 50 up to 1,000 yards and has an infinity setting above that. The turret adjustments are in quarter MOA and are offered both undercap and exposed turret. Both the front and rear scope caps are removable, and the front objective is threaded for a kill flash. The optic sports Nikon's advanced BDC reticle for long-range hunting applications. The reticle of the optic is composed of a standard duplex with 4 additional points of adjustment within the reticle. Laterally from those 4 points of adjustment represented by these circles are plus marks that represent a 10 mile per hour wind adjustment. This scope is compatible with Nikon's powerful ballistic computer app Spot On, free for all mobile devices. And as you guys can see, we've got a little bit of weather coming in on us today, so it's going to be a little extra challenging today. That Nikon is riding on top of a Macmillan Heritage 300 Win Mag. This is a pretty nice hunting grade weapon that we have here. This is not their like tacked out model or anything like that, but this thing is a pretty solid shooter. We're going to be shooting 190 grain Federal gold medal match today, 300 Winchester Magnum, and when we were on the short range earlier, this gun was shooting same hole at 100 yards. We're talking very, very well under sub MOA with this setup here. This is probably one of the nicest setups that as far as like the complete system of the optic, the gun, and the ammo that I've had the pleasure of shooting. So that said, what we're going to go ahead and do first is we're going to go ahead and shoot with the BDC. We have a target out there at an arbitrary distance. I have no idea what it is. We're going to go ahead and range it using the parallax function, and then we'll go ahead and send some lead down range. All right, boys and girls, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the actual BDC within inside the optic to give us a point of aim. The way we're going to do that is first determine our range. And this is actually a very coarse way to do things. This is going to vary a little bit depending on how good your eyes are. We're going to use our parallax function here to range our target. You're going to start off by setting your optic at max power. This one's just so happens to be at 30. We're going to then take our parallax function, go ahead and turn the knob until our target gets crisp. We're going to go a little bit past it until it gets fuzzy again, and we're going to go back until it gets crisp. This is the same concept of measure twice, cut once sort of thing. So after you've kind of settled it back in, go ahead and lock it down and use that at your range. What we're going to go ahead and do is call this one at 400 yards because the parallax function is between the 300 and 500 mark. What we're then going to do is we're going to turn our magnification setting down to a setting that gives us an appropriate field of view for the target. What we basically want is probably about 3 targets on each side and a little bit short so we can see if the round lands short. We actually happen to be shooting against a big berm here, so we don't need quite that much. I've gone ahead and picked 10 power as the appropriate setting for this. Then what we're going to go ahead and do is log into our Spot On app that pairs with Nikon optics. This thing is super useful. It's a very powerful ballistics computer. We don't have a whole lot of wind today, so we're not going to be doing any wind correction with the wind meter that comes with it. I'm going to be rolling in all the fields and all the screens in this thing so that you guys can see them. I'm not going to go through each of them. We've done a full video on the Nikon Spot On app. So what we're going to go ahead and do is get our BDC and move this thing down to 10x and we can see that at this range, this is a second focal plane scope, so that means the subtensions will change depending on our magnification. We can see that the appropriate place to aim on this thing is right at the base of the first circle. So guys, the target's at 400 yards. We're not going to be wearing eye protection for this because you know, yes, we are shooting steel, but the likelihood of something coming back at this distance is pretty negligible. So we're going to forego the eyes today. I know it's not a really good practice, but with the haze today, all the humidity in the air because it's raining, it's getting pretty difficult to see down there. So here we go. No pressure, guys. I did not shoot this beforehand, so we're going to see how this method turned out.
Hit, center target.
The trigger on this thing is like, we did the poundage, it's like 1.75 pounds. So you gotta lock it, make sure that the finger's completely outside the trigger guard, because in practice I set it off once or twice.
Hit, center target. Hit, center target.
And I got one more. This gun's a 3+1, so we're gonna see if I can shoot about 1,000 here. I know the doc will give me some serious grief if I miss this one. So again, no pressure. The whole world is not watching or anything like that.
Hit,
Win.
Center target.
Very cool. What we're gonna go ahead and do is reload, and we're gonna talk about our next method of making adjustments. Beautiful Federal gold medal match ammunition. This is basically the standard whenever you're sighting in a really nice rifle. You know, 0 with gold medal match. Eliminate a lot of your problems. So as I said, three in the tube here, and then I'm gonna pipe this one, depress this around so the carrier can ride right over top of it, put her on safe. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is actually use the turrets themselves to dial our elevation here. So what we're gonna do is input our distance into this app here, and what it's telling me is that I need to set my sights to 26.24 inches low at 400 yards. So what we're going to do is talk about MOA for a second. MOA is basically the size of your correction divided by the factor of your distance. So if you're talking about 400 yards, you need to divide your adjustment by 4 to get MOA. So we're talking about 26.2 inches, roughly 26 inches here. And what that basically boils down to is 6.5 minutes of angle. And I'll have the math on screen for all of us that are mathematically challenged. So if you look at your turret here, it has quarter MOA adjustments. So we literally move with the numbers here 6.5. So I can spin this to the 6 and then go 2 more clicks. Yeah. And now I can use the center of my duplex to do some shooting. Using the center of the duplex now, 400 yards.
Hit, center target.
For a second there, I was kind of scared. There was a little bit of a pause there before that, that impact. The velocity of the recoil of this keeps you from being able to confirm whether you've hit or not, because this thing, it is 300 Win Mag, guys. This is a Magnum long action, so she's moving.
Hit, center target. Hit, center target. Shooter's air.
Boy. Well, I would like Doc to confirm this. We need to I don't have any dry clothing to clean this off with. It's pretty wet in there. I can't hardly see that target down there.
Well, if you got to blame it on something.
Yeah, no, I can't shoot for shit. That's what makes this whole setup here is making me look good. So, oh yeah, it's a lot clearer.
Well, you redeemed yourself.
Yeah, we'll call that redemption. So guys, there are two ways to get your ballistic correction at range. You can either use the BDC and use the ballistic ladder to go ahead and use your holdovers, or you can dial it right there. This thing's really easy to return back to zero. I know a lot of guys are somewhat skeptical about messing with their adjustment once they've done it. These things are numbered. I'm going to move it right back down to the 0 mark, and I can resume shooting at my 0 distance and hit dead nuts every single time. So that is super easy. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit more playing at this distance, get real comfortable with the rifle, and then we're going to see if we can't do something a little bit farther out there that actually is challenging, because this thing is like a chip shot with this kind of firepower.
So one of the nice things, if you prefer to dial your scope in, you can dial it to your preferred range, and which we've determined was 6.5. And then if you desire to get a little more magnification, what you can do is, we started out on 10. If I want a little more magnification, I can just look and dial it to the preferred magnification as well. That's one option you have when you're dialing in your turrets on a target.
Yes, because center is center no matter what.
Right, right. So we're going to put it back on 10, and then I'm going to shoot a couple rounds, and then I'm going to crank up my magnification a little bit and shoot a couple more rounds. Okay, so let's crank up our magnification, let's say to 14, and see what that looks like. So I'm in on that target considerably more, and it still looks pretty good. So let's send a couple down at that magnification.
Yeah, and if you did this with your holdovers, you'd be completely off. Uh-oh. Ooh. Ooh. Somebody was making fun of me earlier.
Redemption shot.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. One of the things that I've noticed about increasing your magnification, you sometimes need to increase or decrease your eye relief, which can be a little dangerous with a 300 Win Mag. If you get your eye a little bit too close to this scope, you might get a black eye out of the deal.
Well, not only that, but like you can feel the wind off this particular gun coming off of the scope cap. It flips down from the recoil, and it'll hit the bill of your hat, and you get kind of nervous.
Not gonna lie, the first shot at 14 magnification, the scope itself hit the front of my bill on my cap.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa, you know. Yeah. You don't wanna take one in the eye, get scoped. Yeah. You know. Especially on film. On camera, that would be really bad. Turn around, have blood run down my face.
Yeah, because that thing will cut you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be like that'd be shooting fail number one. So anyway, so just so you know, if you desire to dial in your optic, which a lot of shooters do, you know, that's, you know, the way most shooters do it, you can play with this magnification, you know, whatever suits you, whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever you get that best picture for you, feel free. I mean, if you want to go all the way up to max power, you can do it, but only when you're dialing in the turret. If you're using the ballistic come-ups in the BDC, you cannot do that because it will change your point of impact.
Alright boys and girls, we've moved out to the 800. The grass is a little bit tall, so we actually have to shoot out of the back of the truck right now. We got a couple targets down there at the 800 yard mark, and I'm going to be using a combination of holdovers and a little bit of wind correction. We got a little bit of cross breeze coming in, so we've got a little bit of windage correction. We're going to see if I can't close this video out right, put some hits on steel out at 800. Here goes nothing, folks.
Hit.
That's what I like to see. My bag shifted on me. Notice that I'm not using a rear bag.
Hit. Hit.
We got one more in the pipe. Let's see if we can go 4 for 4. Yes.
Hit.
All right, boys and girls, we've got hits at 800. Proving the capabilities of this setup. This was actually very, very fun to shoot. This is an awesome setup. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video earlier today, while we were getting rained on, that this is probably the finest setup that I've had the opportunity to get on. I would say that the only thing that really competes with this would be the Ulfbrecht that I got on from Alexander Arms. This thing is super nice. This scope performed absolutely awesome, except for we lost the front scope cap here somewhere, is probably over there, and the velocity of the recoil has killed our other one. But other than that, we've talked about the Nikon scope cap kind of issue here before. You know, it is what it is. If that's the only thing wrong with this setup, I cannot complain. Sorry we didn't get the drone out today, but with the rain, it's been really hard to get her in the air. Maybe we'll have some flyover shots of another day rolled in here. That said, thanks for checking out the Nikon Monarch 5 with us, on top of the Macmillan Heritage here with this Federal Gold Medal match, shooting pretty sweet out at 800 yards. Thanks for watching the VSO Gun Channel. We'll catch you guys on the next video.
I mean, it's 90-degree humidity out here. We're sweating our butts off.
We're up against standing hay bales here.
Yes.
You know.
And I mean, you got the sweat pouring into your face, and it's like, man, that was fun.